So, as promised, here is my vlog about the cooking for a lazy man doing keto, especially as I can't be bothered to cook. So I'm going to show you what to do if, like me, you either haven't got the time or the inclination, and this is what to do. So here are the ingredients that we can use. Now remember, this isn't the best amount of quality of food you can get for keto, but it's one of the cheap ways of doing it. It's one of the quicker ways of doing it, and it's very convenient. So I do buy a lot of frozen food. I like the fresh, don't get me wrong, but I just find it inconvenient to keep going to the shops every other day to pick up the fresh stuff, and the fresh stuff only lasts 2-3 days, and then whatever hasn't been eaten needs to be thrown, and I just don't want to go shopping 4 times a week. So this is why I've got the frozen stuff, and I mix and match. Sometimes I'll get fresh, sometimes I'll get frozen. So this is the frozen. So as you can see, I've got a mixture of meats here. I've got your lamb chops, chicken thighs. You want your chicken thighs because they're the more fattier cut, and the more fattier cut is better for the keto lifestyle because it gives you more energy. I've got your pork chops. I've got your mixed florets. You've got your broccoli and cauliflower there. I have a lot of them. I love Brussels sprouts. Button sprouts will be written down here. All the frozen stuff here, most of it is from Iceland or Food Warehouse, I believe it can be called in some places. I especially like the avocado halves. Now the problem is with getting fresh avocados is when you cut it in half, you've got to heat the whole thing because it doesn't last. So it'll start to go brown as soon as you start to prepare it. So I prefer to get the frozen ones, and they're ready. So you get eaten there. I've got some chicken thighs from Tesco. Don't matter where you get these from, just get what you can afford, because a cheap keto is better than no keto at all. It's got to be better than the Western diet that we're all used to. I've got a little bit of frozen chopped garlic. Like I say, I just don't get the time to go preparing food, so that's what I do. Better if you do it organic, better if you do it from fresh. I don't have that time. I've got a couple of different cabbages. So this is your common or garden green cabbage, and that's your spring greens cabbage. So I chop and change. I get all different cabbages, depends what's on offer, it depends what I fancy. I try and mix and match them a little bit. I've got a tray in there to put the stuff in to cook, so I just use a bit of greaseproof paper because nothing sticks to it, and it's very convenient. I've got the various condiments and spices that I use. I've got a measuring jug, I've got your olive oil. Now it's up to you what olive oil you want to use. I'm using the, get that into focus, doesn't appear to be, the extra virgin olive oil. This one's Tesco's. They're all much of a muchness. I do like the taste of the extra virgin olive oil. I don't find much difference in price between the non-branded extra virgin olive oil and the cheaper olive oils, so I tend to just stick with the extra virgin and cook with that, drizzle with that, and it just does me all round, and it tastes really nice. So I've got your crushed chilies, because again I can't be bothered to chop them up. I've got your peppercorn in a grinder. Italian herbs seasoning. I use whatever seasoning's going at the time. So when I'm running low, I'll just go and get some mixed herbs, mixed seasoning, whatever it is. Himalayan salt. So I've got this Himalayan salt that my daughter bought me a little while ago, well, a couple of weeks ago I suppose, at Christmas. So I'm going to give that a try. Sometimes I'll use this sea salt in a grinder, and if I want to use it liberally, I've got some Mediterranean sea salt there. Okay, so that's all my ingredients ready, so I'm going to start doing it now. So first of all, and this is really hard when you're holding the camera doing it at the same time, I'm going to put some olive oil in here. Now it don't really matter how much you're using. I'm not hung up on specific amounts. It's got to cover the bottom of the tray. It hasn't got to be deep. I'm going to be putting the meat in, then tin it over, and then I'll maybe drizzle a little bit on top. So I've got some olive oil in there. Now what I'm going to do is sprinkle a little bit of this Himalayan salt that my daughter kindly bought me. I'm going to put a little bit of crushed chilies in there. A little bit. By the way, I've got a Derbyshire accent if you haven't already noticed. And peppercorn. Now, okay, this one's in a grinder, and I'm not going to be able to grind this, so just bear with me while I put this down a moment just to do that. Can't do it one-handed. So with some grinders you can have a depth control, so if you pull it or push it, it can give you different amounts of thickness of corn. Right, that's enough of that. So what I'm going to do now, just give it a little bit of a stir. Now I'm going to pour it onto the paper. There we go. Leave a little bit in so that I can drizzle it on top. So now I'm going to look at what I fancy out of this lot. So do I fancy a bit of chicken, lamb? Tell you what, I do fancy a little bit of chicken. So put the chicken in, goes that with it, and these are quite small, these cuts, so I'm going to have another one. Oh, I've finished the bag, which I've got some more. Now it's up to your personal taste. Now I've just come away from festive holiday season, which means my keto is all to pot at the moment, so unfortunately I'm hungrier than I usually am, and that's why I'm having two. They are quite small. Even though they're smaller, I'd usually only have one, so put those there. Now I'm going to leave that like that, and I'm going to add the vegetables that I want to cook in it. They're going to be the florets and the Brussels sprouts. Now the florets can go in straight away. I'm going to be cooking this chicken for, I like it sort of really crispy on the outside, so I'm going to be cooking that for 3/4 an hour to an hour. I'm looking at it at those times. I'm going to be putting the florets in too, so do that now. Well, you see how big these florets are. Because they're so big, they actually will take a while to cook in the oven like this. So just add that. I've probably gone a little bit overboard on that, but it's there now. So that's all the vegetables from the florets. Now I'm going to put in some Brussels sprouts. Now you have to be careful with the button Brussels sprouts. They do cook a little bit quicker, so you can either put them in now and they'll be really well done, or you can leave them a bit and put them in later. I think I'll leave them a bit actually. So now that is actually ready for me to just drizzle some more on top. So that's what I'm going to do. So you can see the spices and the herbs. They're going to really give it a lot of flavour. I mean, there's so much flavour comes out of the olive oil anyway. I think olive oil just makes everything so tasty. So I'm going to put that in the oven, and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Just bear with me while I put the camera down. Right guys, so I've decided to go for this particular cabbage. I've already washed it. I'm just going to put it into the steamer and then that's sorted. So all I do while I'm doing that, I'll show you. Just bear with me while I sort this camera out. So I'm just gonna I'm just ripping it up, so into pieces. See if I can get a better angle with this camera. It's not easy when you've got wet hands. Right, so I'm gonna rip it up. Now this is actually just for me, so I'm not going to do too much. And I bet there's loads of people out there saying, not too much, there's loads there. Feed a family on that. But remember, I've just come out of the New Year's festivities. I'm not back into ketosis yet. So, this is what I'm going to do. When I'm usually preparing my meals, if it's just for me, I have probably half of this, what I'm doing today. But like I say, as I'm out of ketosis at the moment, I think I just need to indulge a little. So that's that done, and put it on the steamer. Oh, and one thing, I'm not going to do the other cabbage. I'll use that another time. I think I'll be a bit greedy. And I've already put one of the avocado halves in the oven. I'll show you. There it is, in the oven, cooking away. So, for now, that's it. I will let this cook for, I'll probably put this on a little bit early. So I do like soft veg. Some people like it crunchy, but I don't mind cooking this for about 45 minutes. Some people only cook it for 20, if that. Like I say, I do, especially with this sort of cabbage where it's got thick stalks, I like to soften those up by cooking them a bit more. So the more you cook it, the less nutrients you're going to get. This is true, but you've got to do what you've got to do, and this is the way I prefer it. Okay, so I'll just switch everything off for now, and then we'll come back to it when it's all ready, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay guys, so that's the meal presented. So you can see I've got all the veg on there, and you see the ones that's been roasted and gone alongside the ones that haven't. Now the ones that haven't, what I've done is the tray that contained the roasting, I emptied that tray over the top of the vegetables, which was the cabbage that wasn't roasted. So they've got a covering of the juices, cooked juices from the chicken, the spices, flavours, the olive oil, etc. is all on there. And you can see that on the plate you've got quite a bit of olive oil in there instead of gravy. That's really good for you, is this meal. So it's a substantial meal. I'd usually have a little bit less than this. I'd have one piece of chicken and perhaps a third less veg than I've done. But as I keep saying, I'm just recovering from the holiday season, so it'll be back to normal as from Monday. It's Friday today, so we'll see how we get on then. And the next vlog I'm going to do regarding the meal will be a quick keto style curry, but made with a paste. So look forward to that. Bye.